This podcast is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information contained in or provided from or through this podcast is not intended to be and does not constitute as financial advice, investment advice, trading advice, or any form of advices. The information in this podcast is general in nature and is not specific to you, the users, or anyone else. You should not make any decision, be it financial, investment, trading, or otherwise, based on any of the information presented in this podcast without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or financial advisory. You understand that you are using any and all information shared in this podcast at your own risk. You are solely liable for any losses that you may incur from investing, and in no event shall we be liable for any losses which may be incurred while investing. Hey everyone, welcome back. We'll be starting off part 2 of our Ethereum podcast right now.
So this will be actually the main part of our podcast this week. It's actually the use cases of Ethereum. So we're gonna deep dive a little bit on exactly which segment or which industry benefits from Ethereum smart contracts, and how they actually benefit and how they actually may benefit from it in the future as well. So the first one is actually the supply chain industry. So I feel that the supply chain industry is undoubtedly like the number one use case for smart contracts, because any supply chain that utilizes, let's say, the Ethereum smart contract can benefit from what it does, because for example, a delivery system that uses smart contracts to track the product can actually track it based on what state it is in and other key details that were not possible without the use of smart contracts or ledger system, which actually means without a smart contract, you cannot actually track in very detailed kind of deliveries for part of the delivery system. For example, the exact time and date, everything may have to be recorded manually from let's say the delivery person, and all this actually can be automated via a smart contract. Let's say the order is already delivered out to the purchaser, so the purchaser will receive the order and just key into the let's say approving that smart contract that has received it, and everything will be automated based on time date back into the blockchain. So that is actually an extremely huge part that will actually solve a lot of painstaking shortfalls that people have seen in the past, especially those in the supply chain industry. Also, smart contracts are capable of automatically ordering things if the supplies are running low. So it's actually one of the biggest impacts of blockchain on the supply chain industry that benefits both the large and the small retailers in general, because all this, like, supply is running low, is going to be a ongoing thing. This is perpetually going to happen non-stop. So that is one. If we can actually automate it, that is actually going to be one big part that takes off the load of people checking in all the time, because you don't want people to have to manually check in once again. Everything can be automated as well. And also for the supply chain, there are always things about disputes. You know, they will say like, oh no, we have not received it. Oh no, we have not delivered it. But one benefit of using smart contracts is that any kind of dispute settlement can be settled within minutes, because everything is tracked to all the minute details. So I think any kind of dispute can be easily tracked, pulled out from the ledger system, and it can be solved immediately as well. So there's one big part that I think the supply chain industry will benefit a lot from. The next one is actually the government. A lot of times when you go and vote for a new government, you probably have to go down to a physical space and go and vote. But in terms of how blockchain, I mean, how smart contracts can actually solve this, we do know that smart contracts are all, like Ethereum smart contracts, they are all transparent on the blockchain. So this actually serves as one important thing called transparency, which every single government and every single democratic government would want as well. So if people want transparency, smart contracts can help the voting systems to provide that. And in this way, there will be no politics or conspiracy like surrounding the voting, which can solve a lot of queries on whether or not the votes are legit. So this ledger based solution can easily trace the votes and ensure that the results are as accurate as possible. And also smart contracts can improve voter turnout, as they can be made to work with a digital identity. So it does not require them to fill out forms, and voters can choose to vote through a secure online system, probably improving the chance to pick a fair government party to power. Yep. My next part will be also on corporate management. I think enterprises can, like I mentioned in the supply chain part, so the enterprises can automate their work processes using smart contracts. So I think in terms of corporate management, if the automation part can be fully utilized, it actually improves the processing to a whole new level, because there's no dependency on other processes, and there are fewer chances of misinformation on the sharing and usage as well. I think my last part before I pass to Ellen to continue on is the automobile and logistics industry, which has also benefited hugely, if I can say, from the smart contracts, because the smart contracts can actually help to find out like defaults during a crash, or help understand the problems that occur within the car. And this can help with automobile insurance, can remove fraud from happening, and it can also generally help users who are affected by a car crash to get their insurance settled really fast, just via the blockchain. And of course, blockchain in logistics, it plays a massive role, and a lot of impacts are actually, I mean, a lot of aspects of logistics actually utilize smart contracts directly. For example, invoicing and payments, tracking, dispute management, transparency even, for some of the suitable cases of use cases of the logistics industry. Yep, Ellen, maybe you want to share a bit more on what you know as well for the use cases?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So some idea I think of is trade finance. So with trade finance, parties is no longer have to waste time and money on any manual paperwork. The TNC of the contract can be finalized beforehand, and it can it can mitigate any kinds of dispute in the future. So I think financial institutes like banks or insurance can and like regulatory bodies can intervene automatically where the terms of a smart contract have been broken by either of the parties. Okay, another thing I was talking like before was like real estate would be one of the good industry or potential industry that can make good use of smart contract. So let's say if you ever thought of buying a house and then decide to delay because of a long process that might take to buy one. Usually when you get real estate, there are a long verification process that can take quite a while before you can get the ownership of your new house. But I believe all of these process can be automated with the help of the smart contract that can govern the whole process of buying and transferring ownership from the seller to the buyer. All the clause can be decided and coded into smart contract before it is made live. Once again, once that's complete, the buyers can pay for installments of the payment, and then the ownership of the house can be transferred through a smart contract automatically to the buyer's hand. Another thing would be healthcare. So currently there's like a lot of issues in the healthcare industry, a lot of problems, and when it comes to providing the service to the patient. One of the problem is storing and maintaining the patient's personal health records. So if we have smart contract running on Ethereum network, this can solve the healthcare industry problem by creating like a healthcare system where patient profile can be accessed through a decentralized network. This will also improve some testing results, like regulation compliance, and definitely supervising drug supplies on, like in terms of the demand of the certain hospital or the healthcare industry.
Thank you so much, Alan. Alan, which do you think is closest to your heart with regards to how the use cases are? Which one do you think it benefits the most?
I always believe like if real estate can somehow make use of smart contract, would save a lot of time and money.
Have you seen one? Have you seen a real estate company that has used?
I've seen some that is try to replicate it by having ownership of the property to be an NFT, and then try to make use of software. But the biggest issue is they have to work with government in order to make it like work, right? Because there's no point just have a NFT and it can't really, and you still have to go down to the land registry to actually do all the paperwork. So I was thinking this like this kind of like a real estate or smart contract way to revamp the real estate industry will need they probably need to experiment in a more like more like a developing country rather than a well-developed country, right? Because those countries will be more, they'll be easier to adjust in terms of regulation compared to a well-developed.
Yep, I totally agree. In fact, I think real estate, if they can, like what I mentioned, if they can utilize smart contracts, it will be absolutely crazy. Everything will be, I mean, like they can probably view a home just via a video call, and then they can purchase a home overseas even, and everything can be automated and instant. And if that can be utilized, it'll be very crazy. But for myself, I actually spoke to a couple of my friends who are in the healthcare industry, and some of them are doctors. And I asked them if, when I was doing research on Ethereum in the past about smart contracts as well, I asked them, do they actually use the blockchain technology for the healthcare? Actually, they do. And that is
they're already doing it.
Yeah, it's quite crazy because they don't actually know that it is blockchain technology until we just, because we like to like bounce a lot of ideas and we just like to talk very deeply on such subjects. So until they went to go and ask themselves and they realized, oh, actually this is blockchain technology. So everything, a lot of the patients' profiles are actually on the decentralized network already, and that's why if you visit like maybe the public hospitals and things like this, everything is shared across on the decentralized network, and that's how they pull information like just instantaneously also. And I didn't know that those were actually blockchain technology, or even utilizing the smart contracts on how they can once they key in like a specific detail. For example, today if you come in for a consultation, and then you have ticked off a certain number of pointers, once they key into the smart contract, it just flows out to the whole decentralized network, and everyone can view exactly what happened at what time, at what date, at which place. So it's actually quite cool. And my friend mentioned that they are in fact trying to integrate this to I don't know how true the information is. Probably just his own thoughts and his own gatherings with his other doctor friends. But he said that they are trying to integrate this to throughout the whole of Singapore, and every single clinic, every single hospital, every single healthcare service will be using this as well. I think that's going to be extremely exciting, because we do see like the strain on healthcare, especially when COVID hit. And a lot of things, these things can be, if they can be automated, it will definitely help out a lot, especially touch wood if something like this comes by again.
But how do they like protect the privacy, right, for each patient?
Yeah, so that's
because usually this info is not usually it's not, they don't want to make it public, right, like, or too public. That's why you have a big, that's why usually like let's say sometimes they have like some huge like government or very like centralized system to ensure that these items I mean this information are not able to get access by everyone.
Yep. So the privacy thing is I think the biggest thing that they are encountering, which is why it is not as it's not fully adopted yet, but mainly on I think the public hospitals, they are adopted right now, but maybe not in every single healthcare system out there. I think because, like you mentioned, the privacy thing is gonna be a huge subject, because nobody really knows. Yep.
And also another thing is for supply chain, right? I think I've came across like a few projects of company that try to do supply chain of blockchain to ensure the transparency of during the whole supply chain from products when they produce to product when they during the logistic, and to actually to the final product that's get delivered to the clients. I think I like these things. I usually think is actually how you actually keep track, ensure that every single step, so every single tracking is able to make transparent, right? Because there's still a lot of person in like intermediate person who are actually able to feed in any fake data or poor data to actually affect the result of having a transparent supply chain system. Because like let's say like for milk, for example, or formula milk, right, for babies, like these kind of things, like they should have very tight control on the quality and supply chain. But how can the company ensure, like, in between no one's actually providing any fault data during the input of the recording? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I think there's always the kind of conflict whereby automation is very much supported, but at the end of the day, if there is someone that actually can handhold you throughout the entire way with a face in mind that that is doing that, then maybe that trust level is higher than just the pure automated way. I think like the humans is ourselves, we probably need to get used to the automation being like a norm. I think it will take many years. I don't even think that we are like even halfway through like what blockchain can achieve for us in the future. So I think in time to come, when we are becoming more and more accepting of this technology, then we can really see the true effects of it as well.
I think so too. That's why I think like right now, that's why I would say the closest we're doing is on finance side, right? Because all the crypto or the digital assets is traceable.
Yep. That is by far, I think, what we can do right now. Because the like you mentioned, the privacy part, the everybody wants to be anonymous. That factor will be one of the biggest, hardest things to breach, I would say. I think in terms of that, I probably don't have anything else for this podcast. Alan, do you have anything else?
No, not at the moment.
All right, and then in that case, thank you everyone for listening in, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.